Hello and welcome back to HCS Weekly. I'm your host, ShyWay. Good to be back once again. Something I look forward to every single week is to just be able to sit down and nerd out about my favorite video game franchise for a freaking hour. It's an amazing time. So awesome to be here. I don't have any crazy news updates today, guys. One thing I do have, which is a pretty great announcement, is that we finally have audio versions of this show. So if you can't tune in or watch the episode on YouTube, you can actually listen to it on the iTunes podcast and on the Google Play podcast, I guess on the Google Play Store. We're going to have an actual post for it on Twitter, but it's on hcsweekly.com. Go to hcsweekly.com. You can listen to the audio versions of these episodes when you're on the go, when you're at the gym. And yes, we will have it eventually on Spotify. Just there's going to be a bit of a process to getting there, but it'll be on Spotify. I know a lot of you people want it there as well. Anyway, let's get into the interview we have today. And of course, I'm sure you guys saw that amazing highlight video. I'm so excited to have this man on the stream, a member of the HCS Grassroots program. He is so dedicated and, of course, very talented at Halo. Welcome, UberNick, to the channel.
Hello, hey, what's up? How's it going? How are you doing?
Not much, man. I'm doing great. Honestly, okay, a couple of things from that highlight montage. I love that clip when you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm the greatest Halo player, and then just lands a dirty headshot no scope, and then serious
That's like one
face
of my favorite
to the camera, like, I'm the greatest Halo player, and just laugh for like 30 seconds. Dude, that was an amazing clip. And you can't stage that. That just has to like happen organically on Twitter. That's why it's so awesome.
Sure.
Also, yeah. Also, I think I prefer bearded UberNick over not bearded UberNick.
That was the worst mistake I've ever made in my life by like a long mile. Never, ever, ever would I want to go back to being beardless. I'm nearly there. Actually, I over-trimmed my beard this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm on the same page as you. You will never see me clean shaven. My face is like very round and my beard like shapes my face. So I constantly have one because then I lose like 3 years. Anyway, a lot of things I want to talk to you about today, man. You've got such a history in content creation. So really excited to hear your take on these things. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. And this is something that I love doing with content creators is I did this with Vitoed. I go all the way back to your first ever video on your channel. And in this case, it was Halo 4 gameplay. I think you went 41-6. And something really interesting that you said in your commentary was that this is actually the 8th channel that you've made. So take me all the way back here, man. How did it begin? What got you to pull the trigger on YouTube? And then how did you get the motivation to just stop, restart over and over 8 times?
All right, so my YouTube history goes back a long time. It's about 10 years now, actually, which is kind of insane. Like 10 years ago, my videos were like Windows Movie Maker, like my top 5 favorite games, and then I would just like throw like mine would like throw together just like slides of like what my favorite games were, and then obviously I got a capture card in 2010, and the reason I started was because me and my friends just loved Call of Duty montages way back in the day, so we were like, these are cool. We want to make these. So we all started, getting into that. I was terrible at Call of Duty. I could never hit clips. So I soon realized that wasn't really for me. I was more of like a commentator than a montage clip hitter in COD anyway. That was just not for me. So started in 2010. My first channel was called UberNick TV. And my first proper channel, I guess. And I uploaded that for about a year. And then I kind of got sick of just doing whatever I was doing, I guess. I was kind of like, I'm over this. But in my brain, I wasn't just like, I didn't think at the time I could just upload different videos. I was like, well, if I'm going to do different content, I need a brand new channel for this. So I started a new channel that was called Mr. UberNick. So I hopped from Call of Duty commentaries to doing Skyrim tutorial videos. So it was quite the switch. And then about 6 months later, I was like, I hate the name Mr. UberNick. So then I made a new channel because I disliked the name. And I can't remember. It was something like I'm UberNick or something like, or I UberNick, something like that. Basically, all of my channels they've always been UberNick in some form. It was never just UberNick. It was I'm UberNick, Mr. UberNick, I UberNick, whatever. So I bounced from channel to channel, basically doing every game you could think of. I was a Minecraft YouTuber at one point. I did GTA at one point. Just everything you could think of. And then in 2014, I finally landed on, I didn't land on it. Basically, my first ever commentary that I ever made, which was back in 2009. It never got uploaded, though, because my computer wasn't able to render the video. But I made it. It was a Halo Reach commentary. And then in 2014, my friends were like, why don't you come play some Halo with us? Why don't you come back to Halo? Because I'd been away from it for a couple of years. I started making videos on it. So in 2014, in January, I made my current channel, which I just called UberNick. and I started making Halo content from there. So it took me a while to really find what type of videos I really loved, and it was Halo in the end that kind of brought me back, because I first played Halo in 2008, but it took me 6 years to kind of figure out that making Halo YouTube videos was my real kind of passion, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree. Like Halo's an amazing game, so it's good that you finally landed on Halo. So it was always UberNick. So I guess why UberNick? When did you come up with that name, UberNick? I guess you really wanted to stick with it the whole way through.
So in 2009, my first ever YouTube channel, full stop. I didn't really upload any content on it. Really, it was called The Super Nick TV. That was the name of it. So whenever I was thinking of my YouTube channel name back at the time, my first ever gamer tag was Ginger Ninja 556.
Ginger Ninja.
But I spelled the ninja wrong. I'll not say it because Microsoft forced me to change that gamer tag because I misspelled ninja in a rather terrible way.
Wow. Wow. That's a hell of a way.
I got on Xbox.
Wow, dude.
I got on Xbox one day and they were like, you have to change your gamer tag because it wasn't intentional. It was a complete accident, but basically it was a G instead of a J, but whatever. And then whenever I went to do YouTube, I thought to myself, I don't want to have some weird like fake persona online. I want to have Nick in the name in some way, but I need to think of some like cool way to present it. So I kind of thought Nick, what goes in Nick? So then I came up with Super Nick. So that was kind of like my first attempt at it, I guess. And then one day I was like, Super isn't cool enough. I'm cooler than just being super. So then I want to upgrade the word super, and then I find the word Uber, and I was like, UberNick, that has like a really cool like ring to it. I don't know. And the word Uber, I think it's German. It means like, I don't know, like basically means super, but just better. So UberNick is kind of where I landed on.
That's pretty cool. And then even like the connotations associated with Uber is just like, extra, more like hype in a way. Like you can kind of relate it to so many other, aspects of just being energetic. And
or as I've learned, it's also a very popular taxi service. So no, I don't drive for Uber, before you wonder. No, I don't.
Are you not spot? You're going to have to get an Uber sponsor at some point. Yeah.
I said that at 1 million subscribers on YouTube, I'll sign up for Uber and vlog my first ever trip. So if that ever happens, I'll do that for a video.
Oh, that would be awesome. Okay, one thing I got to do real quick. Tony, I know Tony is annoying me on Discord right now because apparently I'm super orange, guys. Let me see if I can make myself less orange. Tony, you gotta work with me here. That's it. No, too far
super pale.
Is that okay?
Sure.
My Alexa's cool enough. It's all good.
We're good. All right. Apparently, I can't be orange on stream. There's a problem with that. Okay, so with the content, this is like a 10-year grind basically, and then you finally get onto the Halo channel, and even that, you're there for 5 years. How do you keep up that motivation? Was there ever like a point where you felt like giving up, or you wanted to stop, or let me know?
So I started in 2014, like early. It just actually turned my 5-year anniversary of making Halo content there. But I started in the middle of Halo 4, like that's where I started making content. So obviously that was that's probably the roughest time Halo has ever had, because Halo 4 was a very controversial game in the community. So there wasn't like that many YouTubers. Like a big Halo YouTube channel at that time was, there was nobody like out there with a couple 100,000. There was nobody with even tens of thousands. It was like a handful of thousand subscribers was considered a pretty good channel then.
Damn,
so the growth was just minuscule. But back then I was still in college or whatever. I didn't, wasn't necessarily trying to do it as a job. I just did it because I loved just making videos. So the growth was really, really slow for the first year or so. And then the end of 2014, the MCC came out, and I was like, all right, this is it. Like this is the, a new-ish Halo game coming out, so I can hopefully do something with this. But obviously MCC came out. It was broken at launch. So that was kind of like,
oh my God.
a hard time for sure. But I still just loved Halo, so I was like, all right, I'll just carry on through it. So then I carried on making videos for the next year. The Halo 5 beta came out, and then October 2015, Halo 5 launched, and I was like, all right, time to really take advantage of this new Halo game coming out. So whenever Halo 5 launched, I had 500 subscribers basically on the day it came out. So a few months passed, and then in December of 2015, I'd got up to 1,000 subscribers, so I doubled my channel, but my growth was overall quite slow. And then in January of 2016, I was like, is there any point in me doing this? Like, I've been doing this for so many years now. I really just don't know if I have it in me to keep going, because it's been such a long time. This new game has come out, and I still haven't popped off with it. You know, am I just not cut out for doing YouTube? And then I don't know. I was my upload spree was like very like sporadic, like only a few times a week. And I was just kind of really off with it for a while. And then I don't know. I guess I just woke up one day and something had just like flicked in my brain. I was just like, you know, I've done this for so many years. There's no way I'm just gonna stop. You know what I mean? I've put so much time into it. There's no way I'm just gonna just let it all go because, you know, it's been a little bit slow for so long. So then something flicked in my brain and I'm like, I'm gonna set these goals in my brain and I'm not gonna stop until I get them. So I think my first goal was to get into this YouTube network where you needed to get like 3,000 views a month or something to get into it. That was like the baseline for it. So I started uploading every 2 days. I was really starting to pump out content. I was starting to make thumbnails for every video because I hadn't been doing that before. So I started working like just way harder than what I had before. So within like 3 weeks of me kind of setting this little goal, I had applied for that YouTube network and I had got into it. And my growth had started to go up a little bit for the first time ever. And then from there, I just started making better videos. I started getting better ideas. And from that little light switch, that little, you know, bulb in my head kind of going off, I finally started getting a little bit of growth. So that was the closest I've ever come to quitting. I was like I was literally on the edge of just, you know, completely jumping off YouTube, but decided to keep going and it went up from there.
Yeah, I mean that's actually pretty incredible because I was gonna say like 3 years into that channel. So you started in 2014 up until, you know, like 2016, 2017, you only had like 2,500 subscribers. You're doing a 2,500 sub Q&A. And then 2 years later, you're now at 53,000. So that's pretty amazing. The fact that you said like something clicked and you decided to start setting goals. Honestly, anybody in the chat who's watching, who's a YouTuber, myself included, like set actionable goals that you can actually follow through on. And I think that's such an amazing way to improve your channel and to continue pushing out content. It gives you a reason to stay motivated, right? So I like that. You know, your back's against the wall. What do I do? Kind of reassess how badly you want to succeed in YouTube. And I guess you decided this is what I want to do. I'm going to set goals and follow through. And there you go, 53,000 subscribers. You're becoming a pretty big shot in the Halo community right now. So that's amazing, man. Was there ever like a specific point where you're like, damn, I am increasing really fast? Was it something to do with Halo 5 or?
Yeah. As a YouTuber, the best feeling as a YouTuber is whenever you have an idea, like a video idea, and you go out and make that, upload it, and then you kind of put it out there, and then you see that idea like really pop off because you're like, damn, okay, like all this work is really working for me because like I've had a few of those happen, but the first one, the most important, I'd say this is quite a long story if you don't mind. But
dude,
the most important,
I got all day. I don't know about you guys in the chat, but join me on this.
The most pivotal moment of my YouTube career happened in 2016 as well. Like without this moment, I wouldn't be anywhere where I'm at right now. So it's kind of one of those moments where it's like if I had not decided to make this video, my life would be completely different right now, which is kind of terrifying, but also quite cool at the same time. So in 2016, I had a full-time job. I worked in an office. I absolutely hated it. It sucked. I would go in every day. I would have no work to do. It was just like a grind basically of just doing nothing all day. So I went in in about August of 2016 and they told me basically there's no work for you. Like we're not busy enough to, you know, justify to keep you on. So I'm like, all right. I was kind of like bummed out, but also quite happy because it gave me a reason to kind of go out there and find something that I actually enjoyed doing. And all this time I'd still be doing YouTube. I think I just like, I don't know, less than 2,000 subscribers or maybe just over 2,000 subscribers whenever I got laid off. But I was also working on a CSGO YouTube channel with some of my friends. I was an editor on the channel and it had started to like pop off. Like it had started to really blow up and get like a couple like tens of thousands of subscribers. So I was editing videos on that channel, making some money from those videos. So at that point, I had actually started to make, not like, it was like no money. It was nothing big. It was like maybe like $100 a month or something like that. From this channel, but I'd find a way to make some form of income from YouTube. And I didn't even stream or anything at this stage. So then I got laid off in August and they'd basically given me 2 months of severance pay, which is basically 2 months pay to kind of find yourself, get yourself back on your feet without having to worry about money. So I said to my parents, because I live with my parents, I said, give me these 2 months, just give me 2 months to try and make YouTube into something, you know, let me just work on this for 2 months straight with no distractions. My relationship at the time had ended, so I was just like, I was fully focused on making this work. I was like, this is my final shot. If this doesn't work, then this is like the end, basically. So 2 months passed. September turned into my best month ever, and I'd gained like 900 subscribers in that month alone. So I had just under 3,000 subscribers. I might be a little bit off with my numbers, but it was around that. And then in
Okay.
October, I had this idea or saw this thing on Twitter. Basically, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare looked like it was taking a lot of ideas from Halo. I'm like, damn, like this could
Mm,
be a pretty interesting video to make because obviously I'm super into Halo. There's a lot of comparisons here. So I was like, why not make this into a bit of a video comparing all the similarities? So this was way different from any of the videos that I'd ever made before. But it was October. It was my final month to make something work. So it was either this video works or nothing at all. So I was
right.
willing to make whatever type of video I could make. So put this video together, basically comparing all the differences between Infinite Warfare and Halo. I uploaded it. It did okay. It got like 2,000 views in the first like day or two, which was really good for me at the time. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, like this is okay. A few days passed, boom, it blew up. It absolutely
Nice.
exploded. The video has like over like I don't know, like nearly 400,000 or about 400,000 views now. But in October,
Right.
it completely exploded. So my channel went from like I don't know, I think it was like 3 or 4,000 subscribers to like 7,000 by the end of October. And
Wow.
then
It's
obviously
incredible.
once you have any kind of like boom on YouTube, you just got to keep uploading, keep up with that momentum. So by the end of 2016, I'd got myself to 10,000 subscribers. So like that 2016 was like the most important like YouTube year of my life because if I hadn't uploaded that video, my channel wouldn't have popped off and I wouldn't have got that kind of the ball rolling basically with my channel. And then in
Yeah.
early 2017, I had another idea, and that just blew up even more so than that one. So I managed to keep the ball rolling, and then yeah, it's just all went from there.
That's amazing, honestly. And you gave yourself an ultimatum. I think that's such an important thing to consider, guys, is sometimes when you have something you want to achieve and you tell people really important to you, like your parents, that this is something I'm going to do within this time frame, then it gives you it's more than just you doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the other people that you're trying to prove that you can, you can see with basically. So that whole ultimatum type thing, I think really pushed you forward. And the fact that you were done with the
Mm.
job and you had no girlfriend at the time, like I can empathize, I guess, with the situation because I've been in a situation like that in my life, and it allowed me to get into YouTube and into commentary and gaming in the first place. So I think that's awesome that you're able to carry that over, and that video succeeded, and now here we are.
Mm.
So damn, man, I love these stories. Thank you for sharing. Um, and
Like my
then
favorite story to tell
so,
people.
yeah, that's literally like the origin story. That's something you remember forever, like years down the
Yeah.
line. It's like, man, if it wasn't for that video, like think about like the alternate timeline, like,
Yeah, it's
like what if I
terrifying
didn't
to
do
think
it? Where would
about.
I be?
Exactly. I hate that. I hate the thought of that because it's so scary.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I know exactly how you feel. So okay, so now you've been creating content for about 10 years. And then what keeps you coming back to Halo specifically? I guess you got these successful videos, of course, but I remember in your 24-hour stream, you're talking about community is such an important part. Tell me a bit about that.
I mean, the first time I ever played Halo, which was 2008, which was Halo 3, I actually hated the game. I really could not stand Halo 3 at all. But the only reason was because I played
Ooh,
the campaign on a heroic
right.
difficulty, which was too hard for me. So I was like, this game's too hard. I hate it. So I put it down. A few months later, I come back to it and then lowered the difficulty, and I loved it. But the reason why I don't know. I mean, other games are great and all. Like, I love other games. It's not like I just play Halo and nothing else. But I think the reason why I enjoy Halo so much content wise is because I feel like the community is so unique to other communities. I feel like everyone is just so passionate about the franchise. It's not just, oh, I enjoy Halo. It's like, I genuinely love this franchise and everything about it, whether that be the
Right.
lore, the gameplay, the forge, like whatever you can think of. Like, everyone has their own specific part of the game or games that they absolutely adore. And I think that's so cool. And I love being able to tap into each and every aspect of that with my videos and my content and just kind of
Mhm.
being involved. It's just being involved with a community that you're actually really passionate about. It's just like the best feeling. So whenever I make a video, it's cool that I get to share what I enjoy about the franchise with other people that, maybe don't look into that. Some people might just love campaign but enjoy my videos because it's a look into multiplayer that they don't ever experience themselves or
Right.
something like that. So it's just really cool being able to be part of a community that has such different things about it that you can enjoy, if that makes sense.
Completely. Yeah. No, and I like that you brought that up. It's just that diversity in the community, right? As Halo being such a massive franchise, there's so many reasons to love it, right? Whether it's the campaign or the lore in the game or the books created out of the campaign. It's like the Star Wars basically on Xbox. It's a massive franchise. You could be strictly in
Yeah,
competitive multiplayer or casually play multiplayer. And there's so many
exactly.
different facets to it. And one of the biggest things, like you said, is that everybody is so incredibly passionate about the games, about the direction of the franchise, about every little thing about it. And sometimes I think that's amazing. but sometimes it also goes a little too far. It can be a little toxic at times. And,
Yeah,
there
for
was this
sure.
one tweet. Yeah, there was this one tweet that you had posted about a comment on your channel that was absolutely horrible. And I just want to throw that up. This is literally the worst comment I've ever seen. So Tony, you actually, what you're going to have to do is scroll it or something, or change the image that you've given me, because I cannot read the full comment. He says no. Okay, well, you gave the first half of the tweet. I need to read the comment. Can you do it? Can you fix it? This comment has awful language. Okay, he's correct. It has awful language. Let's just start with the first part. But yeah, you could see I hated your face. One of the faces of the community has gotten so bad that yeah. Anyway, I don't even want to read it out loud. You guys can see even from that first half of the tweet there. This is a pretty negative comment. It doesn't get any better from there. It actually gets a lot worse. So Tony will we'll switch it off. So like this is such a troubling thing to see in our community, and I'm sure you've experienced haters before. So I'm just wondering, how do you deal with that? Have you had issues with haters in the past, and how do you keep on truck and stay confident despite certain members in the community?
I mean, I get a lot of comments on my videos, and I read through all my comments, like as any other YouTuber does. But 99.9% of them are always positive or something related to the video, and then obviously there's always that one person who kind of just, I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like I try and keep my videos pretty clean cut. I don't try and be too crazy with my opinions. Like, I don't want to trigger someone or, step on anyone's toes. I just, try and stay pretty neutral or whatever. Obviously there's some people, whether it be jealousy or they just feel like they deserve to be in a certain position, but they're not, and they see me and think I don't deserve to be there, or whatever. It could be for a billion different reasons, but someone drops a comment like that one, I don't ever, interact with these comments. If you see a hate comment, you either block it, move on, just forget about it. There's no point in giving that person, any attention whatsoever, because they just don't deserve it. Why give a hater attention compared to someone who, is saying something nice about your video? But with that one, it was just so shocking to see this amount of almost like hatred just for me as a person because of my enjoyment, because the entire comment basically was about how this person hates me because I support 343's, games like Halo 4 and 5, and how he dislikes them, and then he hopes I, get in a car wreck. That's how that comment ended. And I was just like, damn, like this person hates the idea of me supporting this franchise so much that he was willing to comment something so brutal towards me as someone who is just, I just enjoy video games. In the end of the day, I'm just a guy online that enjoys playing games. But this man, or this whatever, I don't know, felt so strongly towards it that he felt the need to say that to some random person online. But for the most part, I always just remember there's people out there that just, my content can either cheer them up or give them a laugh or whatever. I get so many messages from people being like, "Hey Nick, your videos literally make my day," or, "I was depressed for a long time and your videos were the only thing that kept me happy." Like, I just always think about those comments and those messages, because if I have the ability to help those people out, then nothing will stop me. Not even some guy telling me that he dislikes me because I enjoy Halo 5. At the end of the day, that's completely irrelevant to me. So it's whatever. Let him cry about it, and I can just keep on entertaining the people that enjoy my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, man. Like, ignore the haters and focus on the positive, and that's exactly what you're doing. And I think that's the biggest thing to focus on here. And it's just upsetting because toxicity like that will never get anything anywhere. Like, you're never gonna make 343 change their opinions about the next Halo if that's how you talk, or what I mean. Like, I think that I understand where some of these haters are coming from, but come on, guys, let's come up with an actual argument and be respectful. And hopefully we can transition to the franchise in a way that we hope for. And honestly, I think recently 343 has been doing a lot of good things. So
I agree. The amount of or people I see on Twitter, like replying to a tweet from an employee or whatever, just being like, "Fix your broken game," like, or whatever, or just coming up them like really aggressive. It's like, how is an employee or any, like, in whatever franchise, whatever game, whatever business ever, nobody is ever going to respect someone's opinion who just comes at you basically all sideways, instead of respectfully saying, "Hello, I have this issue with whatever. Maybe you could try this, or this is my opinion," or whatever. Like, a lot of people in the Halo community always just go for the attacking route with things, and it's never going to be a way to do it. You always have to be show respect, even if you don't agree or don't like something. You always got to show respect first.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So there are a couple of haters here and there, but like you said about, focusing on the positive and the positive comments, you have some incredibly dedicated fans. And there's actually someone out there who has a tattoo with your name on it. Tony, can we see the picture? This is an interesting tattoo, and I'm sure you've had to talk about this before. UberNick is my god. You don't come back from that. That's a hell of a statement right there. Is there a story behind the tattoo, or do you happen to know the user or anything about it?
Yeah, I know the guy that got that tattoo quite well. He's been around my community for a long time. He's actually someone that makes content himself, and
Okay.
he DM'd me probably like a month or two before he got it. He's like, "Hey Nick, I'm thinking about getting this." And my first response was just like, please
Don't
do
do
not
it.
get that tattooed on your body. I'll
Oh
feel so
man.
bad if you got that done to yourself.
Right.
Um, but at first I didn't really understand. He wanted to do it as a joke. Obviously, he doesn't actually think I'm his god. He thought it would be hilarious. But I'm like, you're
Uh-huh.
gonna regret that. You really are. But he explained to me that he's just gonna do it because he thinks it's absolutely hilarious, and that in the future he'll most likely get it covered up with another tattoo, which is what a lot of people do with tattoos. So I kind of came around the idea. A part of me can't help but think it's really, really cool that someone has my name tattooed on their arm.
For
I don't know.
sure.
It's just like,
Yeah.
how many people can say they have their name tattooed on someone's arm? But besides that, I don't ever condone someone getting my name tattooed on them. It's just with this guy in particular, I know him quite well. I know that he'll probably get it covered up in the future at some stage. So it's not going to be like a permanent thing. It's not going to be some 80-year-old man walking around with "UberNick is my god" on his arm. You have to explain that to his
Right.
grandkids. So it's basically just a meme, I guess. It's just a joke. It's nothing too serious.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty funny.
Hell of a joke, and it was a statement for sure. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, like he could cover it up against. It is funny though, and I agree with you on the fandom side of it. It's nice to have people who are so willing to support you that they will go through such great links, even if it is a joke. I think that's a pretty amazing thing. And no, Ubernick does not condone getting tattoos of his name on your body, guys. Okay, he's not
And that's
saying
just
you should go
directly on
do
your
it right now.
forehead or nothing. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Or unless it's directly on your forehead, exactly. Okay, so let's get into this because like recently with HCS Grassroots and everything, you've been building such a strong relationship with 343, and you were one of the first people who were selected to be part of this HCS Grassroots program. So first off, man, congratulations for that. That is amazing. And tell me a bit about like how this came to be and what your experience has been as a part of HCS Grassroots so far.
Okay, so I think it was about late November time. Tashi just hit me up in the DM and he was like, "Hey, Nick, can we get a call? I want to like chat to you about something." And I was like, "Okay, why does Tashi want to call me?" Because I had no idea. So then he calls me and he basically explains, what the grassroots stuff is. He kind of explains what their plan is with it, and I'm like, I'm totally down. Like, hell yeah! And if anything, I felt like very honored that I was one of the first 4 people that they were
Right.
interested in getting in because I don't know. I feel like since I have been making Halo content for so long, getting asked something like that is the most gratifying feeling in the world because it feels like all your hard work, well, all my hard work, I guess, for the past nearly 5 years at that point was just like it was worth something. It was actually, they appreciated all the time I'd put in. So it was just a really, really nice
Right.
feeling getting asked to be a part of that. So then I think can't remember. I think it was like December. It was announced or something like that, and it was just like
Mhm.
the coolest thing. The amount of people that were super happy for me and just basically just congratulating me for being a part of this program was the coolest thing ever. And also the other 3 guys that are in it with me are all super super talented themselves. So yeah, shout out to Peter Action Man and Nated, all great guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems like an amazing initiative. And I think it's great that they have you on as well. And there's nothing says make more content like the company of the game, like telling you to make more content basically by having you as part of this program. So I
Yeah,
think it's an
for
amazing
sure.
initiative that they can finally, celebrate some of these great content creators and encourage that you make more content and also build a closer relationship with the community and help you do that by, giving grassroots skins and other tweets and updates and things like that. I know you've been posting a bunch of grassroots skin giveaways. And those get a lot of
Mhm.
likes and retweets, so it's a
Yeah,
great
dude,
way
it's
to
crazy.
generate publicity. Yeah, it's pretty
One of the reasons
epic to
why
see.
I love the grassroots so much as well is because I feel like for a long time, well, basically forever with Halo, there was never any real incentive as a content creator. You see
Right.
other game companies partnering with their content creators, like flying them out to events or
Mhm.
whatever. So now the grassroots is a thing. I see people on Twitch all the time with their titles as grassroots grind or whatever, or trying to
Yes.
get in grassroots. Basically, it's really cool to see people feeling like they have something to work towards instead of just I'm streaming Halo today and that's it. There's actually something like a light at the end of the tunnel, I guess. So it's really cool.
Yeah. That's a huge thing is so many people are worried about viewership on Halo and its popularity at this moment in time. And it's like Halo overall as a franchise is still massive and it's still run by Microsoft and 343. And the fact that they've created these programs to incentivize that you play more, you have something to grind towards. It really motivates people, even in the kind of darker times when games aren't quite as popular and we're waiting for Halo Infinite and stuff like that. It's great to have a reason to keep grinding, something to look forward to. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of amazing initiatives that came from HCS Grassroots, is we have the Invitational coming up, and they recently announced that you will be heading over to Austin, Texas, I believe, right, to stream in a booth with Vetoed and Action Man, which is amazing. That sounds so awesome. So tell me, like, are you excited? And then can you share any details about this experience? Do you know anything about what this is going to be like what your booth might be like? Anything?
I mean, I'm definitely not excited whatsoever. If anything, I just can't really be. I'm joking. Obviously, I'm super.
If you want to give it to me, I'll take it.
I'm beyond stoked. Like, it's being flown to an event. It's not even the idea of being flown to an event. It's just kind of like what that means, I guess. Something I've been working towards for my entire like YouTube career at this point. You know, as a 15-year-old starting off, I would always see these YouTubers that I would love watching being flown off to events and whatever. And I always thought to myself, like, that'd be so cool if I could ever get that for myself. You know, that's kind of like the big goal as a content creator, to kind of get yourself into these kind of situations. So as soon as I was told that, you know, we have this opportunity, I was just like over the moon. It's probably one of the coolest things to ever happen to me from this whole YouTube streaming thing. So I was super excited. And from what I know, when we get there, there's going to be like a Halo booth set up alongside the Invitational, and there's going to be like streaming setups for me and the other guys to kind of stream live from the event. There's going to be like a big BTB match that gets played, so we're going to be in that.
Right.
With other people in attendance.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be a really cool time.
Yeah, I wonder how they have it set up. If you have like your booth and then there's like a live audience like viewing type thing, like specifically for the booths. I'm really curious to see how they decide to set it up. It'd be really cool.
I'm not entirely sure of the setup myself. I'm yet to, see that myself. We've not really been told exactly how the setup is, but I'm presuming there will be, it's going to be like in a booth. So I'm presuming people will be able to walk in and kind of like see us streaming and stuff like that. And we'll be able to interact with people that are around really, really easily. So it's going to be really cool.
Yeah. Oh, so I mean, definitely incentive to keep grinding and to make tons of content until you get there. And then, so we still don't really know when the next Halo game is coming out, though. We got kind of like a hiatus here. Where do you see your content headed with the next year? Like, do you plan to continue like Super Halo dedicated, or are you going to try to branch out a little bit? Or, I mean, probably with Halo Infinite, I would assume you'd just kind of prep for that.
I presume Halo Infinite won't be out until 2020. That's my guess at this point. So obviously we don't know anything for sure, unfortunately. And as someone who does this as their full-time job, I need to make an income somehow. So Halo will always be my number one. I'll always be a Halo content creator first and foremost. But I'm willing to look at other games to make content on. I'm not opposed to uploading other stuff. I do it every so often, but the end of the day, I always will be a Halo guy. That'll always be my home. But every so often, I'll upload a different game or we stream a different game. But I'll always stay true to Halo. I'll never ever leave this franchise whatsoever.
Yeah, happy to have you, man. And one thing I'm praying for is that they hopefully, and this is just me praying here, that they hopefully have a beta by the end of 2019. So then that at least gives like tons of content opportunities.
Yeah. They're going to have the flighting tests. So they've already announced the flighting tests that are going to be going on. So basically like a way to test the game with the community, kind of like MCC at the flighting tests. So those will happen with Halo Infinite. And I'm pretty sure they're happening this year. So at the very least, we should be able to play the game this year to some degree. So that's all I'm hoping for at this stage. Obviously I want them to take their time with it. So even though 2020 is so far away, as a content creator, it sucks. It sucks. As a Halo fan, it's for the better because the game will come out even better.
Right. Exactly. And hopefully if we have something to chew on by the end of 2019, then at least that helps us out with content and it keeps things going steady. So I completely agree. If they got to take a long time on it, they got to take a long time. If that means crafting the best ever Halo game, because I feel like their opportunity is bigger now than they've ever had with the Halo franchise to really pop off. So really looking forward to what happens there. But let's talk about Halo Infinite a little bit as well. As somebody who's so passionately invested in the Halo franchise, you have been for a while, what are some of the biggest things you want to see in Halo Infinite? Maybe we just do like a couple of the things. And I'm sure if the chat has any questions, they'll ask some too soon.
What I want to see in Halo Infinite, It's no lie, or it's no question that the Halo 5 campaign was pretty weak. I'm
Oh,
not
for sure.
not the biggest lore person. I'm definitely more of a multiplayer guy, but I still really do enjoy playing the campaigns a lot in the Halo games. So I
Mhm.
hope Halo Infinite has a better campaign. Just that's like the first and foremost. But with multiplayer, I'm a big BTB player. That's kind of like where I sit. I know there's probably a lot of like competitive players watching right now. I enjoy and I love Halo esports, but for myself, I don't love
Right.
playing it that much. Every so often I would jump in, but for the most part, I'm more of a like a casual player, I guess. So
Mhm.
BTB has a lot more of a focus on it, I guess. I hope they actually make the maps themselves instead of just using Forge. Forge is great and all, but you can't beat having a
Exactly.
created map by the developer themselves. So really hope for that. When it comes to gameplay and stuff, that's like a really tough question to answer because I
Definitely.
love Halo 3 is my overall favorite Halo game. I love how Halo 3
Okay.
plays, but I also love Halo 5 and I love how that plays. Besides Spartan Charge, that can go Spartan Charge like off the cliff. So I don't know how they're going to mix it. I have no idea how 343 are going to go forward with the game. It's going to be really difficult for them to kind of find that mix because obviously they want to please classic fans and they also need to please these like newer fans that they've basically spent the last however many years developing. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be people that have just played Halo 5 and never really played Halo 3 or any of the other games before that. So it's going to be really difficult for them to kind of find that correct mixture.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So much to deal with, especially, yeah, like the gameplay perspective is the hardest thing too. And I don't think they'll go farther advanced at this point. Like I
No,
can't see them go
no.
farther that direction. They know enough to bring it back. So it's just what kind of a hybrid of the two are we going to see? Are they going to go all the way back? So it is interesting and it is like, thankfully I feel like the community does have a much greater involvement in this decision than they ever have. So hopefully that's molded and shaped even throughout the beta and beyond. But you were saying BTB is, and that's one thing I completely agree with, is BTB kind of got like sideswiped in Halo 5. They didn't
Yeah,
really have it for a while. And then they just brought in all these Forge maps, which were kind of subpar in comparison to what we could have had if they had just, focused on BTB. Instead, we had
yeah.
Warzone. So what did you think of Warzone? Is that something that you would want to play again in a future iteration of Halo? Should that be scrapped completely? Or like, what were big issues with it? Or I'm sure there's something they could do with the foundation they built to create something
Mhm.
awesome. You know what I mean?
See, Warzone for me is such a weird subject because without Warzone, I wouldn't be where I am at right now because
Right.
Warzone was
Yeah.
such a central point for like all of my biggest videos were all Warzone challenges. That's where I really found my kind of basis for my content. Warzone challenges was where I really popped off, I guess, in 2017.
Right.
Um, so like it's just a game mode, but I literally do a Warzone, like my YouTube channel at this point. So I would hate to see it just get completely scrapped because I think the idea of Warzone is fantastic. I think the actual basis of that game mode is super, super cool. Having these two massive teams being able to charge at each other with these crazy weapons and vehicles and just kind of have a blast in that sense. But the problem with
Mhm.
Warzone, the core issue is that if you go against a team that is so much better than you, it's going to turn into the worst game of your life because you just get
Right,
farmed.
right.
And being just locked into your base and just getting killed repeatedly over and over and over again until they eventually get 1,000 points is just the most mind-numbingly just worst game of all time. And I'm sure there are so many players that have stopped playing Halo 5 because of this reason, because they just hated having this done to them. It's been done to me numerous times. People would hunt me down on stream and make sure they do this. That's actually the reason why
Yeah.
I don't even play Warzone at all anymore, because I just don't want to
Wow.
ever have to experience that again. But
Mhm.
I think if they find a way to kind of get around this whole farming issue with Warzone, it could be a really, really great game type. But I don't know exactly how they could do that. Maybe they could spawn in enemies that could try and retake bases out in the map or something like that, so they'd be forced to move away from attacking the enemy or something like that. But Warzone is a really
Yeah.
good idea. It just needs to be worked on a little bit more to be very as good as it could be, I guess.
Yeah, it can be tough with so much like Halo being so massive because Warzone takes focus away from other game types and modes and stuff. But they had a lot of really cool ideas, like with like enemy AI's inclusion
Yeah,
and the fact that you can spawn up and ride in vehicles with friends and things like that. There's a lot that was cool about it. But yeah, like you said, is teams would just milk the system and basically
yeah.
just keep you locked in your base and just try to farm stuff, which that's a big problem too.
Mm.
But you also can't deny the thing, like not only you as a YouTuber, but Pingy and so many other YouTubers literally literally created and grew a
Yeah.
successful channel just simply because of Warzone and because of requisitions and stuff like
as
that. So it does bring viewership and reason to play. Yeah.
as a content creator, Warzone was the best thing that ever happened to Halo, in my opinion. From the YouTube side of things, I think Warzone really give content creators on the more casual side. This is just casual. I'm talking, not competitive. On the casual side of things, it really give people like myself like a platform and a way to really play something to expand an audience, because doing like rec showcases and stuff like that were just so widely popular. It was just so insane, because like what really popped off for me initially was a thing called the first time using series, where I looked at what was popular at the time and I saw that people loved watching rec showcase videos. So then I was like, well, I could do this, but I want to kind of put my own personality. Something that's always been really important is personality first and then gameplay second. So I made my first time using series, which was basically me using a weapon in Warzone for the first time and getting my first real reaction. Every single first time using episode is 100% real. I actually never, like, it took me years to complete that series, but I made sure that I did not use certain weapons just for that series, because I wanted to keep it as real as possible. So that was the first series to ever really work for me. And it was probably, I'd say it was probably one of the best ideas that I've ever had on my YouTube channel. So I would love to see something like that return with Infinite, because from a content creator standpoint, it was top notch.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, as a content creator, from a standpoint of like building a community, that's so helpful for communities. And I know people are like, they always kind of hold their breath when they hear anything to do with like microtransactions, rec packs, stuff like that, where you have to pay money and you open up packs, and it brought viewership. It's tough. It can be done in the right way though, because we see the Fortnite formula, for example, where there's so many like things you can buy, like customization options or clothes or battle passes or whatever. I mean, you can include stuff like that in Halo if they do it in the right way. And Halo has so much lore. It's got so much to work with, and that would build a community at the same time. So I think there is a right way to do it. And Warzone kind of built the framework for it. What do you think about the idea of something like a battle royale in Halo Infinite? You think that would work?
A lot of people hate the idea of this, and I think they hate it just because it's popular. I don't think they actually look at the gameplay side of things. I'm a huge battle royale fan. Like, PUBG is my favorite battle royale game personally, but I appreciate Fortnite. I love Blackout as well. So I'm a battle royale fan. I appreciate it a lot. I think the idea of a Halo one would be insane. You know, dropping down from the sky as an ODST and then like jumping out. It'd just be the sickest thing in the world. Like that to me would be like the best thing ever. But a lot of people don't like it because it's popular. I feel like they're just like, oh, they're just following the trend. But you know, every game has a Slayer game mode. Every game has whatever. Like, every game looks at what is popular game mode wise, and they have their own iteration of that. So I don't see what the real difference with a BR game mode being into Halo is. You know, it's not like the entire game would just turn into one BR thing. It's just another slice of the game that you would have the option to play. So I think it would be awesome. I think I'm totally for that.
Yeah, you and honestly, I think a lot of people agree from that aspect. As long as it's not pulling away from the core things in Halo that we expect to see in competitive and all of that, then I think it could be an amazing thing. Like, for content creation, for entertainment, just everybody. There's always one big war game type of some sort in Halo. We don't know what it's going to be, and I'm sure Battle Royale is something that's going to influence whatever that decision is. But I'm excited to see what it is. I think that is always valuable in Halo. But at this point, I've exhausted pretty much everything I wanted to know from you in the interview. But I want to know what the viewers want to know at this point. If we got a couple questions here, Luongo Pro, who is actually the host of the CS:GO UGC episodes or whatever. I don't know why I'm butchering that announcement, but he says, please ask ShyWay where his grandmother got that sweater. I ripped it right out of her closet from her home and put it on, and it happened to fit me. And I find that it kind of like, you know, like it hugs the right places. So I was like, Grandma, can I keep it? And she said, yes. No, honestly, I got this from H&M, dude. Is it that bad? I feel like if I stand up,
it looks good.
And you see you see it in its full form. Yeah, but you're also on the other end of the chat. So he's behind the keyboard, right? He can say whatever he wants. You got to keep it civil or I get mad. Anyway, literally one says, I have a question for Nick. Which underappreciated Halo YouTuber or YouTuber in general do you like to recommend?
Let me think here. Kevin Cool X. He does a fantastic job. I think Kevin does a really, really good job. He's very dedicated. He always on top of any new update or any little bit of information, but he doesn't do it in a like a super. He does clickbait, but everyone clickbaits a little bit. He always makes a joke about that.
Sure.
But Kevin, if you're in the chat, dude. But Kevin, I think, does a fantastic job of covering like everything new with Halo in a very well organized manner. He does it in a really really good way. You as well. This isn't me sucking up at all, but I think you do a great job with your content.
You.
So there's a lot of people out there I think that do a really really solid job with their stuff. But like you and Kevin for sure, you guys do a great job.
Totally agree on the Kevin shout out. Kevin, I have a feeling you're probably in the chat because, like, honestly, like you said, he's super dedicated. He's like, yeah, man, is such a great member of the community. So, guys, Kevin, if there's any way you can even put your YouTube in the chat, like, go ahead and do it, and you guys go hit the subscribe button.
I actually met Kevin in September there when we were at the PAX. It was really cool.
Nice. Yeah, and I have yet to meet this guy. We actually played together a little while ago, but yeah, we have yet to meet at an event. Hopefully that happens one day. Yeah. Vetoed in the chat. Vetoed, man, nice to see you. Nick, bigger BTB or Warzone?
I think I would have to go with bigger BTB. There's always been like an idea in my mind where I'd like to see like this absolutely massive game mode in Halo that is just like ridiculous, like a 32-32 player. 32
like
versus 32 player. Yeah, like something crazy like Battlefield kind of size where, you know, you have Scarbs in the map, you have Pelicans, like these massive vehicles that you can get around the map in with your team. I think that'll be the most badass thing in the world. I think I would absolutely love that. Yeah. So bigger BTB, I would be totally for it. I think that would be so sick.
I think that's sick too, because you're not worried about so many other things. Like in Warzone, it's like, oh, there's 3 bases splitting up the action. Mm-hmm. There's bosses, there's other objectives, but this is just like Slayer, 50v50 BTB.
Yeah,
like,
it'd just be
run in and
wild,
go crazy. Yeah. It would be intense for sure. We got Lizard King TMB for UberNick. Every Halo game has its special mode that shows it off, i.e. Warzone. Any thoughts on what Halo Infinite will have to offer as, I guess, the special mode? You kind of touched on it a little.
Well, I think definitely, as we said before, Battle Royale is going to have some kind of impact on that decision. You know, there's no ignoring how popular Battle Royale is, and I think it would be quite stupid of 343 to ignore that. You know, as much as they want to do their own thing, they also, you know, they're a company that need to keep up with the trends to some degree. You know, without, you know, completely copying. So I think it'll probably have something to do with BR. I'll be shocked if it wasn't. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a complete Halo Battle Royale, but maybe something along those lines, maybe their own little spin on it. I would see that happening for sure.
Yeah, I could see them pulling like inspiration from it for sure. Okay, and here's a question that I actually forgot to ask, and Tony reminded me, so we'll say it's Tony's question. By the way, you have amazing thumbnails. This is one thing that I wanted to point out is, Tony, throw up the picture of the thumbnails that you have here. Some of these are so incredible, man. Like, how are these done? Because I'm noticing like animations from Spartans that are just completely impossible. Like, Tony, show that other one. By the way, it looks like he's grabbing the foot and pulling it into his nuts. It doesn't. Looks like he wants to be kicked there. I don't know who decided on the hand grabbing the foot animation there. And then you've got it like spinning the rec card. Like that is, you can't just take a screenshot of that in the middle of a Halo game and make that work. Like that has to be rendered in some unique way. So how exactly do these thumbnails come about?
So I was really lucky to meet this person called Bailey in like super late 2016, I think. And she has played such a massive role with my YouTube. Like, she helps me out so much. And she's the one that actually makes all these thumbnails. I make a lot of my thumbnails, but any of the really like, how is that Spartan doing that? Like, if you ever look at one of those, that's made by her. So she basically has like a 3D model of my character in Halo 5 that she can like pose in any direction, waveform that she wants. So it's a program called Source Filmmaker where she basically poses the Spartan, makes a little green screen, puts it in Photoshop, and then, you know, creates these basically masterpieces. So without her, my thumbnail game would be way down. So she's the magic maker. She's the one that does everything in that regard. So I do owe her quite a lot whenever it comes to the thumbnail game, because obviously thumbnails are a massive part of any YouTube videos. So I'm very lucky to have her kind of in the back help me out.
You said it was Bailey?
Yeah.
Bailey was the name? Shout outs to Bailey. Does she have her commissions open, or is this like an exclusive UberNick type
It's kind of like she does for some people. I don't know if she necessarily wants to open her commissions to everyone, but, you know, certain people she would do it for. So it's kind of like a per person basis, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, the result, like you said, like masterpiece, just being able to mold this the Spartan any way you want, that ends up
Yeah,
with some like really epic thumbnails. So
for
you
sure.
definitely your channel is immediately recognizable because of those thumbnails as well, especially like the consistent border that you have around it. Like
Yeah.
it's a really great aspect to like why I think people would click those videos. You know it's an UberNick video right away. Um, and then we have Crusadrian OB2. When did you decide to become a ginger? Some real
It
factual.
was a couple months before I was born. I guess my genes were like, all right, what color are you gonna have next? So it was between brown and ginger for a long time, but ginger just kind of pulled the lead, and that's how I turned out. I actually love being ginger though. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. I'm a six
Wasn't like
foot
a
four
my.
ginger.
Oh damn! Seriously.
Yeah. Hmm.
It wasn't like
Very,
a
very.
Minority Report style option select. I was gonna say like in the womb, just like would you like to be blonde, ginger, and you chose ginger and 6'4" too. Like in
Yeah.
15 years, I would like to be 6'4". Yeah. Well, I mean, from a comedy standpoint, it helps you out. So I think it's a good thing.
Sure.
So we got stagnate. Nick, DMR or sniper?
I would say the sniper. Sniper is my favorite weapon to use in Halo. It's so satisfying pulling off a clean headshot. So I would say for sure the sniper rifle.
Yeah. Okay. Sniper it is. I wonder what they're going to do with the sniper in the next game as well, because there's so much
Uh,
magnetism on the current one,
yeah.
especially those clips that you have with the what's it called, the powered up sniper rifle. Why is the name escaping
Nornfang.
me? The one that Normfang. That like the magnetism or something on that makes it super easy to just
The Nornfang
like
is
flame the
like
entire team. It's so
I
fun,
have
I'm
a
sure
clip.
though.
Yeah, I have a clip where I got a kill there with the Nornfang, and I was super hyped at the time. But like, whenever I go back and look at that clip, I'm like, this isn't like that impressive. It's
This
really just
gun's
not.
not fair. Yeah. Yeah, the gun is like ridiculous. Like anyway, it would be so much fun to use though. So I get the point. But anyway, Tony says bye B. I did not read that one referring to the ginger question. Honestly, I don't really mind the troll questions either. I think they're a fun time. Where do you see your channel in the next 5 years? That's a pretty big question.
uh,
This is
I
by
mean,
Stagnate as well.
my goal for the end of this year is 100,000 subscribers. That's what I really want to try and pull off. That's like the really big goal. If I do that, I'm not sure, but I'll try my best. My current big goal for anything overall is trying to get a Twitch partnership. I've been trying to get that for the longest time, and I'm the closest I've ever come to getting partner at any point in my Twitch streaming career. So I'm hoping to pull that one off somewhat soon. Getting it before the Austin event in March would be really cool, but that's my current big goal. But just keep making content, keep growing, just keep everything on the up is just what I want to try and do, and just make sure I go into Halo Infinite next year with as strong a channel and community as I can.
Yeah. I mean, with Halo Infinite coming out, 100,000 subscribers in 5 years, I think you're going to hit that easy, man. As far as the
Yeah,
partner goes, it's always nice to see that even in the Halo 5 community, you're upholding like 150 live viewers at the same time or something in a community that like we struggle to hit 100. Like anybody really struggles to hit 100. You're always over 100. So amazing to see that. And
I'm very
hopefully you
lucky.
get
My community is
partners
the
real
best.
soon. Yeah, man. I mean, it definitely, holds people, onto Halo 5 and keeps them
We got
interested.
some creeps in the chat.
Um, do we? We might. I can't even see the chat right now.
I
I'm
want to see
literally
some
just seeing
creeps in the
questions from
chat.
Tony. I gotta open like the Twitch. I just worry that it's gonna mess with my internet connection or something, and then I don't
Yeah.
know. Last thing I need is like lag. Fat Bass or Fat Bass, UGC. What is it actually like making content? I know that a lot of people think of it as being a dream job, but I'm sure, as is with everything in life, there are a ton of drawbacks.
Um, Doing YouTube was always kind of like my dream. You know what I mean? Since I was like 15 whenever I started, I knew that this is something I'd be really interested in doing as my job. But there is a lot more that goes into it than just. I mean, probably the most quoted thing, most said thing to me is probably, "Oh, I wish I could play video games for a living." And I think to myself
Right.
like that. I also wish I could do that because YouTube is a lot more than just playing video games. I play a lot less video games than what people expect. What they
Right.
probably think. If I'm streaming, that's when I do most of my gaming. If I'm not streaming, I'll probably spend about 30 to 40 minutes recording a video. I spend well over an hour, 2 hours, depending on the video, editing it. And then if I'm not doing that, I'm out trying to get away because if I spend so much time just gaming, just looking at a monitor, I'll probably go insane. So, you know,
Yeah.
as much as I love making videos, it does get quite stressful, especially if you have a video idea, you make it, and then the video flops. And it's just like, damn, I put a lot of work in that video, it did terrible. And then, if you don't try hard in
Yeah,
a video, that's the one that normally blows up for you. So it's kind of like a mental balancing
doesn't
act
make
at all
sense.
times.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with you on the struggle. And that's the thing about like gaming too, is all of your gaming is basically ends up happening on the live stream because you can't afford to spend that time being a normal gamer. It's time wasted that could be spent put towards editing or something
Exactly.
else, or like you said, even just trying to have a life. So it's like, yeah, you're gaming for a living, I guess, but like your actual, like if you're an actual gamer and you enjoy the privacy and just being able to get sucked into the world of video game, you can't really do that anymore on your own time because you're so invested in it
Yeah.
in your job. So
Pro-
that's like one
Probably.
pull, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably the
We're
worst part about doing YouTube and streaming is if I am playing a game off stream or not recording, in the back of my head, I always think, should I be recording this? What
right,
if something funny happens?
right,
It's always like, but no matter what game it is, I always think I need to probably record this in case a funny clip for YouTube happens. And it doesn't ruin gaming, but it definitely it puts a bit of like a lock onto everything you're doing because you're always thinking about the YouTube side of things and the potential.
right, right. And on top of the fact that it's like UberNick is like who you are to the point where like you're UberNick more than your Nick, if that makes sense. So it's like,
Mm,
I don't know if this ever happens to you, but just constantly like reassessing yourself and like the kind of the mental toll that it can take on trying to be this type of person that you think your viewers want you to be, if that makes sense. Like you are yourself, but
mm,
you're kind of an animated. This is how it is for me, and I'm still new to the space, but it's like I want to be a specific type of person when it comes to making my content and doing it in an effective way. But that type of
mhm,
person isn't always who I naturally am, so it can be hard to constantly almost like change like a chameleon or something, and it can take a mental toll on you, and you can at times feel kind of depressed and feel like things aren't going well, and definitely a mental battle. I don't know if you ever experienced stuff like that, but
I
it's on and
try
off
and
for
I
me.
try and I try and stay, in my content. I try and be as real as I can. Obviously, if I'm making a YouTube
Right,
video, I'm a lot more enthusiastic because I'm sitting there being
right,
like, "Hey guys, Nick here playing some Halo." That's boring. So I need to be a little bit more energetic, with that. But for the most part, I like to be as real as I can, especially with my stream. People that watch my stream a lot, they've seen basically every emotion come from me. I laugh until I cry. Sometimes I cry because I'm sad. I cry whatever. Like they've seen every
yeah,
aspect of myself as a person on my stream. But like I'm happy to share that because it's kind of like whenever I look at streaming or my stream anyway, some people like to put a bit of an act on or whatever. But with me, it's kind of like I like the idea that whenever I'm streaming, it's just like I'm kind of streaming and it's part of my friends just hanging out with me. That's kind of how I feel whenever I stream. So that's kind
exactly.
of like environment I try and make whenever I'm creating any kind of content. It's just me kind of having a good time with Halo. So
Yeah,
that's what I go
just kind
for.
of getting over those jitters of like, am I being, entertaining or funny, or am I saying silly things or whatever, and just kind of, being comfortable being you and knowing that your
Mhm.
viewers love you for you, and you can just do that. You know what I mean? I think that's like one of the best realizations to have for sure.
Yeah.
Um, okay, Kevin Cool, and there he is in the chat. Willing to throw out Warzone for BR mode? We're kind of getting a lot of these ones, but we'll hit you with it one more time. Would you throw out Warzone in place of a battle royale?
Um, it depends on the long-term content. Warzone, I think, long-term. Actually, I don't know. That's kind of a hard question. Both are good in their own ways. I could see the content for Warzone, a newer iteration of Warzone being really good, but at the same time, I'd be totally down to see like a whole new idea for Halo come in. I don't want to play the same things over and over again. I'm definitely in the boat where
Right.
I never want to see a Halo 3 remake simply because I play Halo 3. I've done that. I want to see something fresh. Like with the game remakes in general, I'm not totally a big fan of them because I feel like I'd rather always want to experience something brand new than just going back to something I played as a child. I totally see why they're
Right.
fun and I enjoy them, but
Right.
I'd always want to play something new. So Halo BR, I would like to see that for sure. And if I had to choose that over Warzone, I guess I would.
Yeah, and I think if you're worried about like new creative content, once again, I guess if they follow that kind of Fortnite system and continuously update and add features, like the new season of Fortnite has like airplanes or whatever, you know what I mean? So
Mm,
like they add constant reasons to come back to it and incentivize playing and make the experience feel kind of fresh. So I'm
yeah.
sure they can do something like that with Halo, considering all there is to work with, especially if you pull in like Halo Wars. Like Halo Wars has so many incredible vehicles and things that just aren't
Yeah, for sure.
utilized in the actual Halo like main franchise game. So I think there's a lot that they can do to continue to innovate and keep things fresh, even if it is just BR for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay. Legotron 10. My question is, when do you think MCC will come to PC? Will it come to PC even? I don't know.
MCC on PC. That was something that definitely needs to happen. I think if it never came to PC, it would be one of the biggest crimes in gaming, full stop. You know, the MCC is obviously, there's a lot of controversy around it, but I think what they've done with it over the past, you know, whatever, 6 months or whatever, has been incredible. I love the MCC. It's probably like some of the most it's probably some of the most enjoyment I've had from gaming in a long time, even though it released in such a bad state. Nowadays, it's absolutely brilliant. So I think it'd be such a shame if PC fans, because I'm sure there's so many PC players out there that loved Halo 3 whenever it came out, and obviously moved from console to PC and kind of never got the chance to play Halo again. So MCC needs to come to PC. If it's going to happen, it'll have to be this year. I think, you know, obviously 2020 will be Halo Infinite, so they're not going to want to have MCC and Infinite competing with each other to any degree.
Right.
So I think it'll probably be this year if it is ever going to be a certain time. So I don't know, maybe E3, something like that, but we'll see. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure what kind of resources the studio has to do both things, but if they are able to somehow put MCC on PC before Infinite comes out, that would be such an amazing draw, like from the PC community, to invite them into the new game before the new game even comes out. I think that would be so amazing. And there's nothing like having just one package with all the games, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like Infinite is confirmed for PC, so it'd be a great way to kind of reintroduce a lot of players back into Halo before this new game comes out. You know, there's so many people out there that you know, they've never technically finished the fight, so giving them that chance on Halo 4, even though Halo 4 is a bit of a controversial game, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the campaign was great, so obviously I think it's only fair that PC players get that chance as well.
Yeah, it's undeniable that, you know, regardless of whether or not the bulk of the fan base really liked it, I think every single one of those titles are like amazing AAA games. Like they're quality games through and through. So having that on PC, I think would be awesome. And hopefully that brings in a whole new community when the next game comes out, which we know will be on PC.
Yeah.
So this is our last question from Muggsy. How's it going, Muggsy? Nice to see you in the chat. Can you beat Muggsy in a Halo 1v1? Put you on the spot.
Dude. See, it's not even fair to ask me this because it would be so easy for me that we had this discussion. I met him back at PAX in September, and we talked about it. And for some reason, he thinks he could win, but it would never happen, dude. Like I don't know why you have this weird idea in your head that you think you could win. It'll have to happen at some stage, and I'll have to prove you.
I mean, Muggsy, come on, you're on HCS social media now. You got tons of responsibilities. How do you have time for Halo? You're going to be rusty. UberNick just came off a hot match in Halo. He can take you to 1v1, man. You got to keep grinding in the background, hopefully.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, that does close out our Twitch questions, and I guess all the questions I have for my interview today. I think the last thing would be just where can we find you everywhere online? I'm sure everybody knows, but feel free to shout out all your channels or any shout outs you want to do.
All of my stuff is just UberNick, besides my Twitter, which annoys me to this day. But my Twitter is UberNick_, which you can see just below my head, I guess. But everything social media wise is just UberNick. So if you want to check me out, I would appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate being on. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for coming on, man. And I think it's just like the ninja thing, man. If you continue to succeed in YouTube and Twitch and you build up your recognition, you can get the real UberNick name at some point in the future, I'm sure too. So
hopefully,
on
dude.
Twitter,
That's the plan.
Yeah. That's the new goal. That's one of the goals you gotta set.
Yeah, that's like my main overarching goal. Once I get that, I can quit. I'm done.
You're done. Like you did it. You made it. So we're gonna UberNick is grinding for the official Twitter name. Anyway. Thank you so much for joining me, man. Hopefully I'll see you online.
Thank you for having me on. For sure.
Okay, that closes our interview today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed everything in that interview. Pretty extensive, I think. I managed to pull together like 15 questions for him. So awesome that we could have all that answered. A lot of great discussion topics. Remember, I know Tony, goddamn, man, constantly pinging me. We got merch, guys, to share. By the way, Tony, throw up the merch. HCS Weekly merch. Check it out. Remember, all the things that you buy here not only support the show, but they support me as well. So you can support me, you can support the show. Everybody's happy. It's a win-win, and you get some nice clothing to boot. So that would be an amazing initiative if you guys could help us out there and buy some awesome merch. And like I said in the beginning of the show, you can listen to episodes. You don't have to be here to watch them, even though we got a lot of really handsome, amazing looking guests on our show, and you got a lot of incentive to watch the show. You can always listen to it. Go to hcsweekly.com, and we have the iTunes and we have the Google Play podcast versions of the episodes there as well, and Spotify will come shortly. So that closes our episode for today. Thank you so much for joining me once again. I'll see you guys next week.